welcome to Visions. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guests are Helen Gardner from the Jewish community, David Schutz from the Christian community, and Heba Ibrahim from the Muslim community. They are here to talk about their upcoming conference, which is 4 days, for the Jewish Christian Muslim Association of Australia. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us what is the Jewish Christian Muslim Association of Australia?
Well, we call it JCMA for short, and it was started about 4 years ago, and its purpose is really to enable people from the three Abrahamic faiths, the three faiths that all have Abraham as a very important part of their understanding of their faith, to get together and to interact with each other in a respectful manner and to find out more about each other's faiths and to deepen our own commitment to our own faith at the same time.
Beautiful. And do you have backings from the other faiths, from each faith?
Yes, we do. From our peak bodies, from the Islamic Council of Victoria, the Victorian Council of Churches,
and the Jewish Community Council of Victoria.
As well as on our board representatives of particular groups and denominations within those.
Right. And what's the aim of the conference?
Well, I suppose it's to meet other people on a human level, to sort of wipe away stereotypes and to get to hear other people's stories. So we go there to learn about our own religion as well as other people's religions, and to do it in a respectful atmosphere, basically.
That's beautiful. So each person shares a bit about their own religion when they're there.
You have a lot of opportunity to do that.
That's lovely.
Yes.
Well, we do have sessions in which various people talk, give presentations on some aspect of their own religion, but we also then have an opportunity to each discuss that in small groups and to learn about it in that way.
That's wonderful. So you get some insight into everyone's religion, and you don't lose your own religion in the process, but you gain more insight.
Certainly. Each of our religions exists within a context, and here in Australia, our religions are not in isolation, but are in conversation with one another, and that's the reality. And so we come face to face with that reality at that conference.
Beautiful. And what's the atmosphere like? What is it like to be there amongst all these three different religions together?
It's really good, actually. It's great because you're there to meet other people of different faiths. So you're already ready to go in there and do that. And then when you're there, you do actually get to ask questions, and you get to understand what different faiths are like, and you get to socialise as well. Yeah. So you make lots of friends by the end of it, and they're lifelong friends, so it's fantastic, yeah.
That's beautiful. And did you have anything to say on that?
Well, I remember the first time I went being very nervous as I was going up there thinking, what have I got myself into? And my response at the end of it was to feel that what I'd met was people. I didn't meet Muslims or Christians. I met people who happened to be of the Muslim faith or who happened to be Christian. And that for me was something that was very important. It helped to remove the stereotypes. But it's a very experiential process. As Heba said, it's very hard to explain what it's like to really feel part of a whole group of all these different people and to feel that you can interact and that it's possible to have positive interactions with all these different people.
And what would you say the main focus of the conference is?
Well, we have had, we're now having our 4th conference, and each conference has had its own theme, but we started off the first conference with trying to look at what it meant to live out our faith in an Australian context. So leaving behind any European or other international issues and just being Australian. Since then, each conference has focused on a different aspect. For instance, last year's theme was seeing others, seeing us. So the focus was learning how in my case, how the Muslims and the Jewish community view the Christian faith. and learning from that. This year we have a theme of healing memories, history and reconciliation. So our focus will be on hearing one another's story, because although we, as we mentioned a moment ago, we all have Abraham in our story, and we all have very similar overlapping religious thoughts and stories, they do conflict at places. And it's making room to hear the other person's story, and perhaps making room for that within your own story in some way. So that's our focus.
And how
for
do
this
you
year.
deal with that? Like if you've got a certain way of seeing something and then someone brings a different point of view for that particular story, how does each person kind of deal with that?
I think the idea is to understand that you will go in there knowing that there are differences, but it is a respectful environment. So even if there are differences, you get to inquire, you get to understand, and if in the end you don't agree, you'll always respect the other person. That's the idea of it.
Yeah, it's almost like that, agree to disagree, like
That's
leave
right.
that person, let them be. That's what they believe, that's what makes them happy.
Sorry, I was going to say we have ground rules right from the very beginning. Every applicant is sent along with their acceptance to come to the conference a list of rules for engagement, if you like. But they're fairly common sense, and we've never had any difficulty.
If I could just add something on the about the focus, it's not an academic conference. It's not a conference where people give academic papers about Islam or Judaism or Christianity. It's an experiential conference. It's there for us to meet each other, to live with each other for 4 days, and to feel what it's like to live with other people. That's what it's about.
Yes, we should stress that it is a residential conference. The only people participating in the conference are those who arrive on Monday at lunchtime and leave on Thursday after lunch. So we're together for those 4 days and those 3 nights. So we eat together, we pray together, we study our texts together, we learn about each other, we talk together, we go for walks, we do recreation. Sometimes it's like playing for 4 days together and making friends, like children do in a playground.
That's beautiful. We're about to go to a break now. You're watching Visions. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly.